Hi, folks. I see some of you all are starting to pop in. I'll give it a few minutes here as everyone's entering. I hope you all are having a good Wednesday today. Feel free to chat in the messages about how you all are doing today. It's a beautiful day outside, so I hope everybody got to spend some time outside. I got a little bit sunburnt today, so you'll enjoy my rosy cheeks for this training. Let's see. Western Massachusetts. Wow, that's a far way to be joining us from. Welcome. Florida. I'm sure it's beautiful down there right now. Okay, folks, people are still filtering in, but I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Please let me know in the chat if you all are having any trouble seeing that or if it's showing up for you all. Okay, we'll give it a couple more minutes here and then we'll go ahead and get started. I know you all are ready to go home and have dinner and enjoy your time off, so we won't keep you here too long. Okay, I think that we'll go ahead and get started. People are probably still going to be joining in, so just as everyone's joining in, make sure to welcome them in the chat. So, thank you all for joining us today. This is Refresh Appalachia's virtual workshop, Telling Your Story, a virtual workshop for food and farm entrepreneurs looking to master online storytelling and connect with their community. Like I said, this is being led by Refresh Appalachia. My name is Kelsey Mills. We've also got Just Tune in the chat. She is with Coalfield Development, our parent organization. So she's here just kind of monitoring what's going on in the chat, here to answer your all's questions. But if everyone's ready, we'll go ahead and get started. So before we really get into this, I just want to take some time to introduce myself to you all. My name, like I said, is Kelsey Mills. I'm the program manager for Refresh Appalachia, which is the agricultural program at Coalfield Development. My background is in natural resources, and I've got a degree in natural resources and recreation management from Marshall University. Over the years, I've worked in social media management quite a lot and in copywriting, which has given me the chance to really tell the story of Refresh Appalachia, bring it to a much wider audience in a way that really connects with our community. And that's exactly what we're here to talk about today. How do you connect with your community? How do you build that audience? So to share a little bit about Refresh Appalachia, in case you're not familiar with us, Refresh Appalachia was founded in 2015. Like I said, we're an agricultural program. We focus on growing and supporting the food and farm sector right here in Central Appalachia, and we do that through four key areas of work. The first is workforce development. We provide paid, on-the-job training and professional development to help remove barriers to employment in our region. We see a lot of historical barriers for people to access employment in our area, so we try to combat that at the ground level. The second is community trainings. We offer educational opportunities for both beginning and experienced farmers with a focus on business development and market access. We also do community development in this way as well. We do activities with local organizations, nonprofits, trying to get them invested in agriculture, gardening, local food. We also do food hub distribution. This helps farmers get their produce into local markets, schools, restaurants. This is supporting aggregation and distribution, which is typically one of the hardest things for beginning farmers to overcome. And then finally, our farm to school work connects farmers directly with schools. So this provides schools with fresh, healthy food. We also support education in the classroom surrounding food and agriculture. We go into classrooms and do taste tests. We do farm to school activities just to get kids really excited about eating local and eating healthy. So altogether, our goal is to build a stronger, more sustainable system for local food. Storytelling plays a really big role in that. I also wanted to shout out really quick here on the left, you can find our team. Obviously, you can see my picture here, but we are a small but mighty group of 8. We're all very passionate about food and farming and creating new opportunities in our region, whether it's operations or outreach or just boots on the ground farming. Everyone here plays a role in helping tell our story. That's what's most important, is that everyone here is a storyteller. Everyone here in this call today is a storyteller. We're all storytellers. It's just knowing how to tell the story. So before we dive in, here is a quick overview of what we're going to be learning together today. So first, we'll be talking about the value of storytelling, how it can help you build deeper connections with both of your customers and your community. We're going to be looking at techniques to help you identify and clearly articulate your mission and your vision. That's the foundation of your story, getting to the really nitty-gritty of it. And then we're going to explore how to share that story effectively across different platforms, including social media, but also in-person spaces as well. And finally, we're going to look at some real-world examples of successful storytelling from food and farm businesses right here in our region, just to give you all inspiration and so you can take some ideas home with you. So this first section is going to be about the foundations of storytelling. Before we jump into the tools and techniques, it's really important to understand what storytelling is and why it matters and how it can shape the way people connect with your business or your organization. So let's get started with part 1. So let's start with the big picture. Why does storytelling matter? Storytelling isn't just about what you're growing, making, or selling. It's about why it matters to you and why it should matter to your community. When you share your journey, where you started, what you believe in, what challenges you faced, you're not just giving people information, you're giving them something to connect to. That's how you turn a transactional relationship into a real relationship. How you turn a one-time customer into a repeat customer, someone who supports your work long term, who maybe even tells others about what you do and what they can get from you. So there are 3 big ways that storytelling really builds that kind of relationship. The first is just simply connection, creating a belonging. People want to know what the human side of your business is. When you open up about your dreams, your motivations, even your struggles, you invite people in. You make them feel like they're a part of what you do. And in today's world, people are constantly scrolling and there's polished ads and perfect images. So when they see something authentic on their timeline, when they see something that's real and grounded, really grounded in the agricultural sense, it just stands out to them. And that kind of connection builds loyalty and trust that can last a very long time. The second thing is identity. Your story helps define who you are, but not just what you do. This is your chance to show your values, your personality, the why, the reason behind what you do. Are you passionate about food justice? Are you working on land that's been in your family for generations? Are you innovating a new way of farming? Are you supporting your community? Whatever it is, that's a big part of your identity, and you want to make sure that people know about it. It's what makes your brand yours. So the third part is action. A powerful story motivates people. When someone understands what drives you and why your work matters, they're more likely to take action, to buy your product, to show up to the market, to share your post, to support your mission, to donate. Storytelling builds momentum. It turns interest into involvement, and that's a big part of why we're here. And so here's the really important part. Your story doesn't have to be dramatic or perfect. It just has to be real. The most effective storytelling isn't about fancy marketing language. It's about being honest, being clear, and consistent about what you do. So as we move forward today, I want you all to keep this in mind. Your story is already there. Our goal is just to help you shape it, to help you share it in a way that feels true to you and that others can understand. So let's talk about finding your mission. This is one of the most important steps in telling your story. We'll start with a basic question. What is a mission statement? A mission statement is a short, clear explanation of your business's purpose. It captures what you do, who you serve, and why it matters. Think of it as the heartbeat of your operation. It's what keeps you focused and helps others understand what it is that you're about. So, how do you start building one? First, you want to ask why. What's the deeper reason for what you do? It's probably not to sell produce, just that. There's probably some more motivating factor behind that. For a lot of people in food and farm businesses, it really isn't about making money. It's about something deeper. Maybe it's to feed your community, to create a healthier food system, to carry on a family tradition, or to heal the land. Whatever that deeper purpose is, that's where your story begins. Next, we want to identify your values. What do you stand for? I mean, this could be things like sustainability, your community, tradition, nutrition, conservation, education, or it could be a mix of a lot of these. These values shape the tone of your story and the direction of your work. They help connect people to you on a deeper level because the values are ones that they share. If they're invested in a value, they want to see that reflected in you. And then finally, just keep it simple. Your mission statement doesn't have to be fancy or market ready. Honestly, it really shouldn't be. It should be true to you and easy to say out loud. You want to aim for 1 to 2 sentences that you could say to somebody at a farmer's market or at a community event, something that clearly explains who you are and what you're about. Your goal isn't a polished slogan. It's clear, it's authentic, and it's an expression of you and your purpose. And that's what makes it powerful. Now that we've talked about what a mission statement is and why it matters, let's walk through how to actually build one. So we're going to use a really simple and effective framework: the who, the what, and the why. First, who are you? This is the name of your organization or the name of your business or your identity, what you identify yourself as. It could be your farm's name, your business's name, or just a short phrase that kind of identifies your role. For example, with Refresh, we use the phrase Refresh Appalachia, the agricultural program of Coalfield Development. That really quickly identifies what we are and who we're a part of. The second part is, what do you do? This is where you're going to briefly list out your key activities or services, the work that you do day to day. For us, that's things like workforce development, community trainings, food hub distribution, farm to school. You want to be able to rattle those things off pretty easily. So you want it to be a pretty short, condensed list, a really good, quick explainer of what it is that you do. And the last part is why. Why does it matter? This is the deeper purpose for the reason of your work. For Refresh Appalachia, our why is to develop, shape, and support the food and farm sector in Central Appalachia. For you, it might be to strengthen local food access, or to carry on a family tradition, or to support your local economy, or to provide fresh food to your area. Once you've answered these three questions, you are more than halfway to a strong mission statement. These pieces, the who, the what, the why, are the core of your story. And the best part is this format helps you stay grounded and real. You don't need marketing jargon. You just need to be clear and honest. So now that we've talked a little bit about this three-part system, it's going to be your all's turn to design your own mission statement. So we're just going to take about 3 minutes here to put this into action with a simple writing exercise using the who, the what, and the why structure. I want you all to write out your mission statement in 3 sentences or less. Think of it sort of like an elevator pitch, something that you could say quickly if you all have never heard that expression, something you can say to somebody in the time it takes you to get from wherever you're going in an elevator, just something that you can say quick and confidently that doesn't feel performative, but it is an accurate depiction of you and your business. So just to break it down again, we're talking about the who you are, your name or your business identity, what you do, the main things that you produce or the services that you offer, why it matters, your deeper purpose or motivation. You're going to have about 3 minutes here. Like I said, once you're done, please go ahead and drop those responses in the chat. Lovely partner Jess is going to go ahead and start a timer for 3 minutes. So once you all are done, drop it in there and I'll read off the responses as I see them. And if you already have a way that you talk about your business or your organization, I'd love to hear that in the chat, just any way that you already talk about yourself. So here we've got one from Lisa at Ripple Creek Farm, a small family farm out to share our candles and soaps with the community. I think that that is a perfect example. It's one sentence, it touches on everything, who you are, what you give, and why it matters. Okay, that looks like that's all the time we have for that activity, but please feel free to keep spitting those in there. I'd love to read more about everyone that's here, what you all are working on, and why it matters to your community. We're going to go ahead and move on with the presentation. We're going to talk about knowing your audience. So this is something that is absolutely essential to good storytelling. But what do we mean by audience? Your audience is the group of people that you're trying to reach, to connect with, to serve. These are the folks who will care about your story, support your work, and become your customers, partners, or community advocates. To understand your audience, we need to answer a few key questions. First, who are they? Think about your demographics. How old are they? What's their lifestyle like? The kinds of interests that they have. Are they busy families looking for a quick, healthy meal? Are they younger people who care about sustainability? Are they retirees who value tradition and community? The more specific you can be, the more personal and effective your story becomes. The question is, how do we find out about who our audience is? And we're going to explore that a little bit later in this presentation. So second, what do they care about? This is about connecting your story to their values. Do they care about buying local? Do they care about organic or sustainable food? Are they looking for convenience? Are they looking for nutrition or just a way to feed their families well? Do they value community, transparency, or tradition? Highlight the overlap between their priorities and your purpose. That's the sweet spot. That's where the connection happens. Third, how do we reach them? This is where strategy meets storytelling. On Facebook, you're going to find older audiences and people who value community. They want to see updates. They want to see local events. That's where you're going to get your more geographically central audience base. On Instagram, the focus is younger and more visual. This is great for behind the scenes content, for farm photos, or for quick storytelling. Online, this can be your website. This can be online advertisements. How are you speaking to them outside of social media, how we typically consider it? And then, of course, there's in person, farmers markets, community events, agritourism, where people build trust with you face to face. The more you understand about who your audience is, what they care about, and where to reach them, the more intentional and effective your storytelling is going to be. So now that we've laid out the groundwork, let's go ahead and move into part two, storytelling in action. This is where we're going to take everything that we've learned so far and start actually thinking about how to put it into practice. We'll look at some practical strategies for using storytelling in your business, from articulating your mission to sharing your story across different platforms. And then we're going to focus on how to make your story not just heard, but felt by customers, by the community, and by supporters. So now that we know about our mission and our audience, let's talk about how to craft your message in a way that truly connects with the audience that we've identified. There are three key strategies to keep in mind. The first is to speak their language. This means matching the tone, the visuals, and the content to what resonates with your audience. For example, if you're reaching out to a younger, more eco-conscious crowd, a casual tone and visual storytelling might work best. If you're speaking to an older, more traditional, tight-knit audience, you might want to keep it straightforward and focus on the facts. The goal is to speak in a way that feels natural and relatable to them. You also want to lead with values. Focus on the values that matter both to you and your audience. If your community cares about local food, nutrition, or sustainability, weave these into your story. Share what you believe in and show how your mission aligns with their priorities. It's about building a connection that goes far beyond selling a product. And finally, you want to be human. The most important thing is to let your personality shine through. People connect with real people, not stories, not perfect marketing, not made up stuff. They want to connect with the real person behind the business. So share your journey, share your challenges and your triumphs. You want your audience to see the person behind the business, not just a polished brand. So remember, speak their language, lead with values, and be authentic. These are the absolute keys to crafting a message that resonates. Now that we know what we want to say, let's talk about how to say it in a way that grabs your audience's attention. Crafting a strong brand identity is about making sure that your message resonates visually, emotionally, and consistently across all touch points. So here are three key elements that I think you all should focus on as you're beginning to craft your brand identity. The first is visuals. Your brand should be instantly recognizable. Think about the logos, the colors, and the fonts. These represent your business. These elements should be consistent across your website, your social media, and your physical branding. When someone sees your brand, they should instantly know who you are. For example, a vibrant color palette and organic photography might work well for a farm-to-table business, while a more minimalistic design might suit a professional consultancy. Whatever you choose, just make sure that it reflects your values and stays consistent with who you are. Next is your voice. The way that you communicate online matters just as much as what it is that you're saying. Your voice should be consistent, whether it's in captions, bios, emails, or when speaking directly with customers. Ask yourself, does the tone match your mission? If your mission is all about community and support, your tone should be warm, welcoming, friendly. If your business is more about expertise and professionalism, your tone might be more formal and informative. Consider whether you're going for a neighborly or professional vibe, or you want something more playful. But whatever you choose, make sure that it aligns with the mission that you have crafted for yourself and that it resonates not only with you, but with your audience that you're trying to reach. And finally, values. Your audience needs a reason to care about your business, and that reason often lies in your values. So what do you stand for? Sustainability, transparency, innovation? Your values should be reflected in both the visuals and the tone that you use. For instance, if your business focuses on sustainability, use imagery of nature, farm life, eco-friendly practices. If you're about community, feature local gatherings, customer stories, and events that bring people together. A strong brand identity tells a compelling story through visuals, voice, and values. Make sure yours speaks directly to the heart of your mission and resonates with the audience that you're trying to reach. So let's talk about Canva. Canva is an easy to use tool that helps you create stunning visuals without needing any design expertise. Canva is always the first thing that I recommend to people who are trying to figure out how to shore up their social media presence and get started with having an online presence. Canva is a great tool for creating social media posts, flyers, signs, and so much more. With its drag and drop tools and pre-made templates, you can get professional looking designs in minutes. So why use Canva? First, it helps you keep your visuals consistent. You can use the same colors, fonts, and logos across all of your designs, making your brand recognizable no matter where people see it. Second, it speeds up content creation. Instead of starting from scratch every time, you can customize templates to fit your needs. This saves time, especially if you're managing multiple social media platforms or events, but it can also save you money. Canva is a free service to use. It is really robust even in its free version, but for $15 a month, you can get the pro version, which really opens up so much more. There are hundreds of thousands of templates, hundreds of thousands of stock photos available via Canva. And I really can't recommend it enough. And also for anyone who's here who works with a nonprofit, Canva Pro is free for nonprofits. So I definitely recommend, if you all aren't set up with that yet, definitely get yourself started because it is one of the finest tools that I have ever seen for use in social media. So the other part is Canva lets you create these professional designs seamlessly. Even if you don't have a dedicated designer, Canva can make your business look absolutely professional and polished. If you have the pro version of Canva, you can create your own brand kit. So you can load in your logos, the specific color codes that you use, the specific fonts, and that makes putting together seamless, consistent advertising tons easier. So I've got a few tips for getting started with Canva. Like I said, create a brand kit. This is the most important thing that I can recommend. It makes it so much easier to put stuff together. Like I said, it's free for nonprofits. It's $15 a month otherwise. That $15 a month is really well spent. I really can't recommend it enough. Utilize their templates. I mean, Canva has a wide variety of templates. You can customize them to match your tone and your story, whether you're promoting an event or showcasing a new product. These templates are a really great starting point. You can upload your photos, images of food from your farm, and images of your team so that these designs feel authentic. They do have really great stock photos, but I'd also recommend using your own photos as well. It gives it that more personal feel. And you also have access, like I said, to all of these really high quality, royalty-free stock images. Almost all of the images that you're going to see in this presentation are stock images from Canva. The template that I'm using for this presentation is a template from Canva. So this is a really great example of just how sleek and professional Canva looks and how seamless it is to use. Altogether, you really just want to keep it simple when you're designing stuff. You want to stick to a clean, readable design that clearly communicates your message, and you don't want to forget Canva also offers a free design school. So this will help you kind of improve your own design instincts over time. This is a great way to sort of strengthen up that muscle and gain those skills over time to continue to shore up your online presence. So with all of these tips in mind, you'll be creating visuals that not only look great, but make it so much easier to stay consistent across all of your platforms. Now that we understand the importance of storytelling, and now that we've developed our mission, it's time to look at sharing your story, actually putting it out there on social media. So why social media? Why is that something that we emphasize so heavily? Well, it's the greatest tool for reaching a wide audience with very limited resources. If used correctly, social media can expand your reach, increase brand awareness, and even help you connect with your community. But it can also be overwhelming to know where to start if you're not familiar with it. So we recommend following the 3 Ps when crafting your social media strategy. First is products. This is the tangible part of your business, the what you're offering. People need to know exactly what you're selling, whether it's produce, it's a service, or a value added product. It's important to ask, what does it do for my audience? Why does this product matter? Why should they buy it? How does it serve our customers' needs? What value does it add to their lives? You want to make sure that that is embodied in everything that you talk about. Second is the processes. Let's take a look at behind the scenes. We want to see what's going on behind the scenes. Your audience wants to know how things are made, the processes that go into creating the product or service that you're selling. What makes your approach unique? How do your methods stand out from others in the marketplace? Take them behind the curtain. Share a glimpse into your workday, how you grow your food, or the care and attention that goes into each step of production. People love seeing the effort and thought that goes into what they buy. It makes them feel more strongly about the things that they buy. The third part is people. At the heart of it all, people connect with people. Social media gives you the chance to show who you are as a business and as individuals. So, who's behind your products? What's your story? Share the personal journey behind your business, the history, the challenges, and the dreams that drive you. Why does it matter? Why does your business matter? Why do the things that you do matter? Why does what you make matter? And why should it matter to the people who you want to support you? What's the broader impact of what you're doing? Let your audience see the real side, the human side of what you do. That connection is key to building brand loyalty and trust. So when you're posting to social media, remember the 3 Ps: products, processes, and people. By balancing these 3 areas, you will build a rich and engaging story that connects with people really well and that makes your online presence really strong. So now that we've talked about the why and the what, let's get into the how. How are you posting on social media? How do you make it work for you? I recommend this social media toolkit: Facebook, Instagram, and Meta Business Suite. Facebook is great for building community and for promoting events. It allows for more long form posts, making it perfect for sharing detailed updates, for sharing stories and event promotions. You can reach quite a variety of audiences on here, and you can also set sort of locations for what kind of audiences you want to target if you're doing paid ads on Facebook. So if you're looking for specific regions that you want to tap into, or if you want to expand your reach outside of your local community, this is a great tool for that. Just a few tips for using Facebook. I definitely recommend you to use it for storytelling. You have a lot less of a character limit on Facebook than you do Instagram, so utilize that. Put narratives on there. Talk about your farm, your products, your mission. Use that space to dive deeper than you would be able to on Instagram. You can also post events and updates on there. Facebook has a built-in event manager system, so you can make events straight through Facebook, and it's ideal for updating these events as well. It makes it easy for people to access communication specific to events. So if you've got that event page, they can go through and they can see as you're updating any changes to the schedule or new things that they should know about the lineup. And I also recommend to share information about your customers, share updates about your customers. If someone shares a positive review or a story, or if they, come to you and are okay with you taking a picture of them, post it to show that people patron you and that you have customer loyalty. This helps to build trust. When people see that someone else has said, "Oh, I love that product," then they're willing to try it. Recommendation is one of the biggest ways that people try new things. So looking at Instagram is all about visual storytelling. It is a great platform for engaging that younger audience and to really expand your reach. Instagram has a lot less tools in terms of geographic reach, so it really allows you to kind of branch out further. It's based more on, connections of who follows who. And for Instagram, the focus is really visuals. You want to be posting things on there that are eye-catching, that are storytelling. I think Instagram is great for graphics, and Canva is a great way to design your own graphics, little story cards about products or those sorts of things. You want to try to adapt your storytelling, make it a little bit shorter for Instagram. I also really recommend using hashtags on Instagram. I know that hashtags are sort of a boring, talked about thing. They're sort of a joke, but hashtags really do increase visibility, especially when targeting specific niches like hashtag local food or hashtag sustainable farming. You want to make sure to not use too many hashtags because at some point it gets overwhelming and it sort of dilutes any impact that using them would have. But if you can find a key few that work for you, for example, at Refresh Appalachia, we have specific ones. We use hashtag food, hashtag farming, hashtag agriculture. Those are the three things that really get us on the radars that we need to be on. Instagram is also really video friendly. It's really big on video content, actually. So I really recommend posting on there short clips of behind the scenes stuff, clips of product demonstrations or service demonstrations. This is a good way to connect to your audience in a really raw, kind of dynamic way. It takes away a lot of the facade of posting on social media and it lets them just see you. And so to focus on Meta Business Suite, this is a really powerful tool. And Meta Business Suite is essentially the combination of Facebook and Instagram. This allows you to manage both of them in one place at the same time. I think that it is a game changer for time management and efficiency. I really recommend that everyone gets acquainted with Meta Business Suite, gets themselves set up. You can schedule posts in advance using Meta Business Suite, and you can schedule them for both accounts. So if you have a Facebook and an Instagram account, if these are tied together, you can make a post for both of them at the same time. It will also recommend you good times to post based on your interactions that you get on your social media. It can give you really amazing insight and audience data. And so when I mentioned earlier, how do we find out who our audience is? Meta Business Suite is the best way to do that. If you can get yourself set up and just get started using social media, get started using Meta, after a while, you're going to be able to see information about your audience, the interests that they have, their demographics, where they're located. And that really allows you to fine tune your message so that you can target them specifically. You can also manage comments and messages a lot easier through Meta Business Suite than through the other apps. Correspondences to either of your social medias, as long as they're connected to Meta, will go straight there. So you can handle everything in one central platform. So altogether with these tools, I feel like this is the most comprehensive way to start using social media. There are other options, TikTok is a big one right now. There's X, formerly known as Twitter. You can also do other not quite social media things, but YouTube, you can do mailing lists and newsletters as ways to correspond. But I always recommend to people to start here, start with the Meta Business Suite, start with Facebook and Instagram. So now let's talk about actually bringing your story to market. Storytelling isn't just something that you do on social media. It is a really powerful tool for building real world relationships with your customers and your partners. I really recommend farmers markets and in-person events. If you're not already doing that, I really recommend, even if you're just setting up a small table and just being there, if you're not selling much, being there and building that relationship with people in person is so important. When you're at a farmer's market or any in-person event, your brand and story are just as important as the products that you are selling. Your story adds value and authenticity to your business, and it's a key to standing out in a crowd. So you want to make sure that you're able to carry your message not only across your social media, but that you're able to keep it within you, that you can speak that really easily, really fluidly, really naturally. That's why it's important that you look for a message, a mission statement that matches you. I also, it's important to think about how you should incorporate storytelling into not only what you're saying, but what you are physically offering. So, into your signage, into your displays, into your product labeling. You want to make sure that there's that physical piece of your story that they can carry home with them, that they can then look back and say, oh, this person, I should reach out to them or I want to buy from them again. I'm glad that I have this here so I know who they are. A really great example is using rack cards, flyers, business cards. These are a physical way that people can keep a connection to you, that they can reach out to you. Also consider having photos of your farm and your team out whenever you're setting up physically at a shop or at a farmer's market so that they can see, what's behind what they're buying. What are you all into? What are you doing? And so another one is local business partnerships. This is another great way to bring your story into the market. When you collaborate with local shops or restaurants or CSAs, you're not just co-selling, you are co-branding. This is shared storytelling. These partnerships allow you to share your audience, to share your ideas, and to support one another with one another. This creates a really strong and interconnected community and really can help propel you forward into your community. It can help bring a lot of sight to you and your brand. Local partnerships really help build up each other's businesses. And it's important to build up other businesses within your community because when everyone comes up, we all come up together. It's about creating a network where your success is linked to theirs and vice versa. I also really recommend getting into agritourism or community engagement in some way. This is a really exciting way to deepen your connection with customers. Invite people to visit your farm, invite them to make a trip out of it and to have a day to experience what goes on where you are. This is a chance to give them a really immersive experience into your story and what you do and what you make and what you offer. If you're in West Virginia, for example, the WVDA offers an amazing support system for farmers who are interested in becoming a part of their agritourism network. So I really recommend seeing what your state has in terms of resources for agritourism. It is booming all over the country right now, and I really recommend getting in on that at the start. It also gives you a chance to connect with your community directly. So, if you're looking at workshops or demonstrations or even Q&As, those are a chance to show people exactly where their food comes from and why it matters. It's a great way to get people really invested in what it is that you're offering them. And finally, representation and connection. As a food and farm entrepreneur, you're not just selling a product. You're part of a larger local food economy. You need to be an advocate for your farm and for the farming community. Be present in your community, be vocal, be honest about the challenges and successes that you face. This authenticity is what builds trust within your community. Take the time to talk to community leaders, to local organizations and other businesses. Get them invested in your mission. They can become really powerful allies in helping you spread your story and your mission. Just remember, storytelling is an ongoing effort. It never ends. It's not just about selling products. It's really about creating those foundational relationships, whether through in-person interactions or partnerships or through community engagement. These are what are going to sustain and grow your business in the long term. So let's look at a real life example of how storytelling can really elevate your business. We're going to explore Lost Creek Farm. This is a farm in, sorry, I'm getting a call. This is a farm up in northern West Virginia, and they have a beautiful online presence. I really adore them. I love everything that they do. I'm so grateful that they allowed us to talk about them in this presentation because I'm so excited to show you all because this is a perfect example of why storytelling is so important. Um, on their website, Lost Creek Farm. So that just to give you all an idea of what you're looking at, this is Lost Creek Farm's website, the first thing that you see when you get on their page. So they use really clear and engaging language to tell their story in a way that resonates. From the very first sentence, you can tell what they stand for. The tone is warm, it's inviting, it's personal, and it gives you a sense of who they are and what they have done and where they hope to go. They focus on their background, their values, what they have accomplished, how that connects their heritage and what they're interested in to what they make. Also notice their visuals. Notice how this complements the language on their website. They use very professional, sleek photography, but it also has a really natural feel to it that gives you the sense that this is a professional farm, that they are elevated, but that they are also grounded in the origins of where they come from, of Appalachia. I think that these images and the design of their website, just looking at it, really speak volumes of who they are and what they do and what they're interested in. When you look at their website, it's clear, they are about food, they're about good food, and they are about growing good food. It's just a really powerful example of that first look. And the next one that we're going to look at is how do you take that longer first look and kind of condense it into something that's a bit more digestible for social media. So here are some screenshots from Lost Creek social media. And we can look at here how they continue to tell their story on platforms like Facebook and Instagram. So building off of their messaging, they take that same authentic language and core values, but they tailor it in a shorter way to suit the platforms that they're posting on. On Facebook, they're able to have an introduction area where they can dive into a little bit more of what they do. The bio on Instagram is a little bit smaller, so they have to shorten it, but they, again, keep that same theming. And you also see here the importance of visuals to fill in the gaps where you don't really have the room to explain everything via text. These visuals are really important, again, in grounding them in what they do. Like I said in the last slide, you see a sleek professionalism here, but you also see a real tie to heritage and to Appalachia. We see them posting photos that have been taken with a professional camera, but that are photos that are recognizable to us. We've got people standing on their farm, foods that we recognize. It's all very grounded. So it tells us that this is a serious professional business that really cares about where they come from. And so let's take a deeper look here and see, how they're leveraging their presence on these platforms to connect with people and grow their business. One of the most important things on social media is engaging with people. You don't want to just be posting and not, when people comment, you want to comment and you want to continue those conversations with them. One of the standout elements of their social media strategy is connecting with people and using photos to connect directly with people. A really good example of how connecting directly with people and engaging with people can really benefit you in such an amazing way is the example of their Let's Build It campaign on social media. This campaign invited followers into the farm's story before they even stepped foot on the property. They used really powerful visuals and really effective storytelling to sell their farm experience first, whether that's a farm tour or a farm fresh meal. But they don't just sell products, they sell experiences. They found creative ways to use social media to drive subscriptions to their Patreon that have allowed them to build out their operations. They do farm to table events that are really mostly about fundraising, where they bring people onto the farm. They get to treat them with a dinner that's fully sourced from that farm. It's a delicious dinner, but it connects people in a really intensely grounded way to the work that they're doing and why it matters so much to continue to patron them. And so I mentioned their Patreon project that they've been doing. This project has been incredibly successful. They have raised over $175,000 through their crowdfunding campaign, all thanks to the engagement and the awareness that they have built on social media, the strong connection and following that they have built there and continue to maintain. Their social media presence is a key driver in connecting them with new supporters as well, with continuing to grow that community and continuing to raise funds for what they do. So I want you all to definitely check out Lost Creek Farms, check out their social media. If you're near where they are, make sure to visit them. They have such an amazing online presence, but they are amazing people as well in person. They use social media to so amazingly embody the work that they do, what they produce, and why it matters. So we're towards the end of our presentation now, but I really wanted to share with you all some resources for further learning. This is really just a gloss over of the importance of storytelling for social media, but to really get that technical help with building out your storytelling, building out your marketing, building out your social media presence, I really recommend using these resources. Firstly, we have the ARFBC, the Appalachia Regional Food Business Center. This is a network of partners and collaborators across all of Central Appalachia, and this includes 16 certified technical assistance providers. They specialize in a wide variety of topics, but some of the ones that I would say are most relevant here are business development, market access, and value chain coordination. So please visit the ARFBC's website to get connected with a CTAP provider near you if you're looking for support in building out your social media. Additionally, you can reach out to us at Refresh Appalachia. We are a CTAP within the center. We focus on guidance for food and farm entrepreneurs in areas like market access, distribution logistics, marketing and social media, and community outreach. So please reach out to our farm to institution coordinator, Lydia Cyrus. You can reach her at lcyrus@coalfield-development.org to start receiving technical assistance with Refresh. And then also definitely, if you are in West Virginia, reach out to the WVDA's West Virginia Grown Program. This is a program that helps farmers and producers strengthen their businesses through support in marketing, labeling, and sales. As a member of the West Virginia Grown Network, you gain access to promotional tools, the use of the West Virginia Grown logo, which is very recognizable. You can see it here, as well as product design and labeling and guidance on regulatory compliance. So if you are not from West Virginia, I highly recommend checking out your state's Department of Agriculture. Most states have programs like this. So really, seek support within your state, within your community. And so we're going to open up some discussion now. If anybody has any questions or anything that they'd like to talk a little bit more about, please put that in the chat. I will bring up those questions as we get them, and we'll try to answer them as best as we can. Yes. So I had forgotten to mention it to this point. I'm sorry, but we do have a survey that we are going to share in the chat. I really ask everyone here today, please fill out that survey. That survey is very important for us to continue to offer learning opportunities like this and community development trainings. It's a very short survey. It's really just to help us continue to uh, get the funding for those opportunities. So that'll be in the chat, and that'll also be sent out when we send out the recording of today's presentation. Okay, it seems like there aren't any questions. So it looks like that's the end of this presentation. I really want to thank all of you for being out here today. I know that this was sort of a, high level touch on the importance of storytelling and on social media. But if you're interested in really building out your own social media, I really recommend reaching out to any of those resources that I put there. Reach out to us if you're within our region. We'd love to work with you and help you get started utilizing social media.
So it looks like there is
Oh,
one
sorry, I've seen a
chat.
question here.
Yes,
I'll
I'll let you
ask that.
answer.
Yeah, so Ronnie asked, what advice would you give to a small business that is just starting? The first thing I would recommend is get yourself on Facebook and Instagram. Just get yourself on there, even if you're not posting much. Establish your place on that platform, so as you're starting to build out your message and your brand identity. A lot of the branding comes after you've had the time to start connecting with your potential audience and the people that you want to reach out to. So really, like, getting set up on Facebook and Instagram, that is the first thing that I recommend. Okay, everybody, that looks like that's all the questions for today. So, again, thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate you all hanging out with me for an hour. Won't take up any more of your time, but like I said, this presentation will be sent out to everyone following the end of this session, as well as that QR code again. We'll be sending that out so that everyone has access to it. So, thank you all.